Glad you like that one.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Before we get started here, gonna take a little survey. For those of you watching, however you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, if you're listening on Spotify, did you come here to see WCW? Or are you coming here to see the
NWO?
One more for the bad guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. Unfortunate news coming over the weekend and whatnot. We lost Scott Hall yesterday, last night. Absolutely heartbreaking for what he's done. We're just going to go around real quick before we get started with the actual show. First, from MinutesToBellTime.com, owner, CEO, executive vice president. Do you have those kind of roles there at MinutesToBellTime.com, right?
Well, I'm not a publicly traded company, so I wouldn't call myself the CEO. And it's a one-man show or two-man show or however many show. There's no EVPs. But yeah, Scott Hall, I guess, the biggest thing when you think back is he really popularized the ladder match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10. I mean, I think it's probably what everybody's biggest memory of Scott Hall is. But of course, he also revolutionized just the way wrestlers get paid and everything when he jumped to WCW. So he's super, super influential figure. Obviously a big fan favorite when he was Razor and then, part of the Outsiders and the original NWO. So it's gonna be a weird thing to have wrestling without Scott Hall around.
It is. James Wheeler, thanks for chiming back in with the hey, yo. Glad you put the video controller down to watch us this week. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Next to Ryan Joy. I don't know how. I guess we screwed things up in pre-production. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't know how John DeConnie got to the top part of the screen, but the first ever PWB champion, living legend, John DeConnie. Razor Ramon, pal.
I'm taking over top row.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, for me, obviously, first ladder match that I ever saw involved him, and it was iconic. But to bring it around to things I've talked about quite often, big Bears fan, SummerSlam '94, Sweetness and his son Jared Payton in the ring with Razor. And even though Vince loves the crossovers and whatnot, he loves to bring in people from any other sport or any other form of entertainment. You don't necessarily, there's not lifelong connections made there most of the time. But November 1st, 1999, when Walter Payton passed away, oh my God, look at who's here.
Yeah, right?
The following WCW Monday Nitro, which was a week later on November the 8th, I believe, Scott Hall came out in a Sweetness jersey, and that just kind of touched my heart. So, there's a million reasons I'll never forget him, but that one's way at the top of the list.
Down under me, below me, in the bottom part of the screen, joining us early this week, Gary Mehaffy, our senior NXT UK correspondent. St. Patrick's Day, Gary. This is your week. I know you're from Northern Ireland, but I guess, you're all leprechauns to me. But when you say Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, what do you think?
I mean, two things. Obviously, one, as Ryan was saying, that ladder match that will be iconic and will always stand out. But from a purely selfish point of view, when I think about it, I was actually looking back. I thought this was 6 or 7 years ago, and it turns out it's actually 11. I had the genuine pleasure of interviewing him of speaking to Scott for an hour. for the Observer site and the History of WWE site. I did an interview with him, and we did about 45 minutes for the interview and 15 minutes like before and after it, just kind of chilling and shooting a breeze and talking. Just genuinely lovely, was so given, very honest in everything that he was saying. But you could see his love for wrestling. And I think now that this has unfortunately happened, like you can now see wrestling's love for him in reverse now, what's happened. But it was just, there are very few people that I could put in my bucket list to say they wanted the interview, and he was one of them. And to say that they've done it, and I've been in touch with him a couple of times since over the years just to kind of check in or whatever. But say it's going to be sad. He's going to be missed, but he leaves a great legacy and some great matches behind him. So.
Maybe the timing of this is pretty bad. We're talking about the passing of one of our favorite wrestlers. But John Smith, you gave me personally a little bit of slack with how I introduced you on the show. As luck should have it, stumbled across something, and what I would like to introduce to everybody on the Essential Wrestling Podcast, I would love to introduce to you the voice of the public address announcer of the New York Islanders, and ironically enough, the former public address announcer of the New York Jets, Mr. Alex Anthony.
And now, tonight's Islanders starting lineup. Goaltender number 2, John Smith. On defense, number 3, John Smith. And number 4, John Smith. The forwards, number 6, John Smith. Number 7, John Smith. And number 8, John Smith.
Jesus Christ. In left field, Bugs Bunny.
So he's been doing his pregame rehearsal. He's been announcing you the entire time. So I finally was able to catch it on video this past week. So there you, John. Your grand intro. We're going to have Alex Anthony, like I said, former public address announcer of the New York Jets. I'm not sure if you recognize the voice.
Oh, I do. I've been going to Jets games since I was 9, so
there you go. Back to other things. I said Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Well, for me, Razor Ramon, like my first ever pay-per-view live was WrestleMania 10, so it was a big imprint, left a big imprint on me with the whole ladder match thing. And he was probably one of my favorites after that. But my whole thing is, how does this guy not have a world championship belt on his resume? Yep. And, he should have gotten it in WWF, and he would have if he had stuck around, I'm sure. But for him to have not gotten it in WCW, I think is a little bit of a crime against humanity.
Smithmania is running wild. I got 3 things when it comes to Scott. First, like I said, the first time I saw him, when he first debuted in WWF, he's beating in action, doing all these cool moves. He's bigger than everybody. He's better. Oh, there goes on. I guess the inaction thing, huh? He was thrusted right into the world title picture against Bret Hart at the 1993 Royal Rumble. So that was a huge test. I watched that this past January on the train, and that match was absolutely great. So he had my respect from the get-go. Fast forward, when you didn't realize it at the time. You knew it was something, but when he walked through that crowd in WCW and interrupted that match, you don't know who I am. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. The ripple effect of that moment, like you don't know at the time, but like it was such a huge part of what the Attitude Era started. It was Scott Hall fouled. The next week, Nash was there too, but he came out a week later, and then the NWO, and that whole war started. And Scott was at the absolute head of that. So, as far as a person who changed the business, contractually, yes, that's a funny story. But with him and Nash, when WWF brought out the fake Razor and Diesel, and they're like, "Oh my God, no, you have to stay. You need to stay." They're like, "We're not going anywhere." But no, seriously, here's more money. Stay. Okay, fine. But that is just one of those moments that it's so huge in the landscape of professional wrestling. And then the last thing, I saw this in a headline today. It was reported, the article was on Scott Steff from FTW. I don't think it stands for that FTW, but it's ftw.usatoday.com. Scott Hall wasn't a wrestler. He was a reminder that it's not too late to fix ourselves. So above everything else he did in wrestling, there was a lot wrong with Scott, and he fixed it. He eventually fixed it. Unfortunately, I guess maybe he didn't live long enough to cherish the changes that he made in his life, but it's never too late. It's never too late. If you're going through something, there's always a way to change it. And Scott Hall, above anything wrestling, it was an epitome of that. So from all of us here at the Essential Wrestling Podcast, thank you, Scott Hall. We will miss you. And like I said, thank you for the memories. I don't know what else to say. This is just the guy went in for hip surgery. This is just complete BS. But we need to move forward. We are going to get into today's episode on the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We'll try to turn things around, get things back on the fun side. I'm sure Scott would have wanted that as well. The wrestling business will go on, right? On today's show, we have a new NXT champion. WrestleMania continues to take form on both Raw and SmackDown this past week. Josh Alexander has his first confrontation with Honor No More on Impact. Gary Mehaffy is with us now. He will be with us in the next segment as well to talk about the Heritage Cup Championship match from last Thursday. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows, presented by, of course, by MinutesToBellTime.com and sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends, play against the universe. And guys, you like it too. Wasn't yesterday supposed to be the Guy Holiday 314 steak and something day? Anyway, you like it. We're going to main event the show. Actually, we're gonna curtain jerk the show. We'll get that in a second. Here are the Raw roll-up standings going into last week. Raw with a 4 roll-up lead on AEW, followed quickly by Impact, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT. Gary, you guys got to step it up, pal. We only got 1 hour of TV a week, but you can sneak in one per episode and you get this. We're going to curtain jerk the show. Remember the bad guy. We did that, but now we are going to get into AEW. And last Friday night on Rampage, I got to switch grabs. If you see a reflection in my eyes the entire show, I know I made fun of Tyler for doing that a couple of weeks ago, but my printer's down. I don't have paper in front of me. I got to use my phone, so it's going to take me a quick second. Ryan, we had Keith Lee make his Rampage debut last Friday night.
It's funny that you say it like that because it's true. Keith Lee did make his Rampage debut. I'm happy to see Gary staying on for the AEW stuff this week.
Yeah, well, they named the special as St. Gary's Day Slam on Wednesday, so it's only have Gary be on to make the picks. So,
okay, makes sense. So, yes, Keith Lee made his Rampage debut, but he was wrestling QT Marshall, and I would just want to say QT Marshall is great in this role. As we want to give somebody a win, we'll give him QT. So QT Marshall, he was sacrificed up to Keith Lee. Big Bang Catastrophe for the win in about 2 minutes. But the story came after the match when Team Taz came to the ring, and they got a beat down in on Keith Lee. Keith Lee did not walk out of Rampage on top. He took a big spine buster from Powerhouse Hobbs. So it looks like we're headed towards Hobbs versus Keith Lee, and I think that's going to be a really interesting match down the road. So I'm kind of pumped for that.
It is, and all this is going to be interesting because the Hobbs match, you got power versus power. I really like that ride. Ricky Starks, I kind of want to say Ricky Starks can kind of hold his own. Keith Lee might overpower. Maybe Keith Lee new FTW champ, but Hook.
There it
is. All right. Well, if you want to see Hook step up, give him the
it's not lost on me the fact that Hook wasn't part of that run-in.
Yeah, but, exactly. I think they're going to try to keep Hook as far away from Keith Lee as possible.
For sure.
At this moment, send Hook, and then you'll see like the pancake in the cartoon. But I think it'll be interesting. Hook's a submission guy. Keith Lee's, he's human, right? John DeConnie, we also had Mark Quinn, Darby Allin, this stemming from the all the blow up from the Andrade Hardy front office from this past Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. We had Darby Allin and Mark Quinn going at it. They went at it for nearly 12 minutes. And we already know that Darby Allin is an absolute lunatic, so we knew he was going to take some chances. Mark Quinn pretty much went shot for shot with him. A 450 splash from the top turnbuckle to the floor. These two were all over the place, and it ended with Mark Quinn missing a shooting star press and Darby kind of transitioning right into a Fujiwara armbar and getting the tap out for the submission victory. But afterwards, Andrade and I guess we just call it the AFO now, started to make their way to the ring. And then Matt and Jeff Hardy came out. They were on the top of the stage. They kind of had a standoff, and that was enough. We went to commercial break. No punches were thrown, but, we know where this is headed going forward.
James, I'm just laughing. James just had a comment. James, I'm seeing the Jericho comment. We'll get to it, pal. It's coming up soon. Isaiah Swerve Scott, already, that's 20 push-ups for me, right? Shane Swerve Strickland. He defeated Tony Nese after they swerve stomp. Hikaru Shida is back. She hasn't forgotten about Serena Deeb. And then Jamie Hayter defeated Mercedes Martinez with a clothesline from hell like lariat. Jamie Hayter using a clothesline as her finisher. I like that. I didn't get to see Rampage. This is devastating as you guys are making a sound. I'm all for it. So as we switch gears from Rampage to 2 days prior on AEW Dynamite, we're going to lead into St. Patrick's Day Slam before we get there. Ryan, there was a tag team championship match last Wednesday.
Yeah, and it was announced right before the show too. Jurassic Express against the Acclaimed. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. That's what they say anyway. So, Jungle Boy Luchasaurus. It was actually a pretty good match. It went 9.5 minutes, but they used the Doomsday device for the finish, which is really cool. I think they took a little bit of heat on the pay-per-view because they used a bunch of moves that would have been finishes if anybody else hit them, but here they used the Doomsday device as a finish, and it was Jungle Boy with a double springboard and then hit the Doomsday device. So cool finish. Hope they continue to use it. I like it a lot better than the Thoracic Express.
Yeah, Thoracic Express. Yeah, they're busy. They're defending the title, defending the titles. They've done those titles proud so far in the short time that they had them. There was an in-ring promo that started the show by Chris Jericho. He wanted to shake Eddie Kingston's hand. Kingston's came out. They eventually do, but here comes Garcia 2.0. They jumped in bowl. Santana Ortiz came out for the save, but Jericho, and then eventually Jake Hager, who came out, attacked Santana Ortiz, Eddie Kingston. James Wheeler bringing up a great point here. I'm going to pull the comments up here. Do you think he apologized to 2.0 for calling him Squarehead and Pinhead the last time they were in the ring together?
It'll be interesting if they bring that back up. I bet they do.
Or if he calls them that from now on, that's their nickname.
That'd be great.
Yeah, they just keeps on going. They just accept it.
This is the best because John DeConnie's favorite wrestler is Chris Jericho. John Smith's favorite tag team is 2.0. So this is the EWP faction, basically.
This is it. There we go. They're calling themselves, as we call you guys too, the Jericho Appreciation Society. Is anything behind that, Ryan? I don't get it.
All I know is it's a horrible name.
Okay.
I would have rather seen Inner Circle 2.0. That would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect. Yeah, missed
Or
opportunity.
the Outer Circle.
Inner Rise. There you go. Where's Sammy Guevara in all this?
He told them on I don't know if it was Rampage or Dynamite several weeks ago. He said to Jericho, Santana Ortiz, he said, "Get your stuff together, or I'm out of here." So he's out of there.
Yeah, he's out of there. Yeah. The AHFO had the emergency meeting. We just talked about it. They voted to kick out Matt Hardy. They're starting to beat him down. Sting and Darby came down first. Then Jeff Hardy. Another comment from James Wheeler. We got about the Hardy Boys. Here we go. AEW cool thing for the tag division. I'm very happy for them. Yeah, they got one last run together.
We've been saying that for 6 years.
Yeah, I know. A lot of jokes about Jeff Hardy dancing in the ring while his brother was getting beat up. I believe, there you go, ripping off Xia Li, who just did the same thing on the Aliyah.
I was going to say, that's WWE training.
That is exactly.
They're all disciples of Humberto Carrillo. Okay.
Yeah. How does Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin float you? That was the first thing that came to mind when I saw this whole thing happening. I'm like, okay. A buddy of mine would absolutely fall in love with that match. I think a lot of people that's going to happen, and I think a lot of people are going to go ape bleep for it. So, see what happens there. So that will lead us into St. Gary's Day Slam. There you go, Gary. Got your own graphic on the top.
Here we are. Yes. I feel like I should get a wee shillelagh.
Here are the overall standings going into the show. These are irrelevant right now. This is not the reason why we're doing this. John Smith and Gary, last week we gave Ryan Joy the opportunity because we were done picking AEW, and he had a 1-point lead on John DeConnie. Ryan's like, you know what? We'll give John DeConnie one chance to catch me. We'll do St. Patrick's Day Slam as well. So that is how this whole thing came about. We didn't score the show last year. We're going to do it this year. 5 points for the AEW title match. There is not one. Hangman Page is in 6-man or trios action, excuse me. 3 points for all the title matches, 1 point for non-title matches. I don't think there's anything in a promotional tomorrow. The perfect pay-per-view is 5 points. And like I said, there's 1 point separating Ryan Joy from John DeConnie for the AEW Championship.
I'm so close.
Yeah.
80 points. All I need is 81 points. I'm so close.
Interpromotional matches for Gary count for 80 points. He still needs to win one other one to make sure that he gets the. So, actually, before we get started, John Smith, I know you did not watch Dynamite last week. I'm going to put up a tag team name real quick. I want you to pronounce it for me. Okay. Add banner. Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, they defeated this team.
Workhorsemen.
You disappoint me. You really disappoint me. You didn't get Workhorse Seaman out of that?
No, not even close.
Workhorse Seaman?
Oh, wow.
I thought that was a layup for you. I tried to set you up for that perfectly. All right, anyway.
Well, you should have made the semen part a different color.
Yeah.
Dash. Yeah, a dash.
Moxley and Danielson defeated the Workhorsemen after the bell lock submission by Bryan Danielson. Oh, I got my letters backward in my notes. Post-match, Regal shared his stories about Daniel Bryanson. Did that again. Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley and what brought him back to wrestling. Warned everybody that they're going to be warned everyone that they are going to be good. There you go, or something like that. Going into tomorrow night, Moxley and Danielson, they're going to get some best friends here, Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta. Gary Mehaffy as our senior St. Patrick's Day correspondent. Who do you got?
Yeah, I looked through to see for every match if I could find any links to Ireland to see who I was going to win. And I figured I know somebody whose son's called Daniel, so I figured I had to pick Bryan Danielson. So I'm going to go, I mean, you can't see any way past Mox and Bryan winning this one, to be fair. So.
And then actually, to start off St. Patrick's Day, your Intercontinental Champion, Ricochet, your favorite Irishman, he defended his title last Friday. We'll get into that a little bit later on. John DeConnie, who do you got?
Yeah, give me Mox and Danielson here. I don't see them losing for a while.
If at all. This is going to be interesting, Ryan Joy.
Yeah, I think they're going to go take those tag titles. There'd be no reason for them not to. But Gary, you missed the easy connection. I mean, it's not necessarily an Irish connection, but William Regal is on the outside. He's the UK guy, at least, you know.
True.
So, yeah. Mox and Danielson, I think, is an easy call here.
John Smith, you gonna make this unanimous here? I got no reason.
Yeah, give me the Workhorse Seaman.
Workhorse.
So that was their opponents. That was their opponents last week. It's not
last week.
Their name.
See, Ryan, I could have easily just called him inaction.
You could have.
Instead, I made it 10 times worse.
Thank you.
Scorpio Sky, we have a new TNT champion, defeated Samuel Guevara after Scorpio hit the TKO on Sammy. Paige Van Zandt got involved. John DeConnie, we've seen some contract signings before. Where do you rate how she signed her contract? I believe that was on Ty's booty.
Yeah, exactly. Of all places to be able to sign, that's way at the top of the list of things I could think of.
Yeah, that's nice
in terms of
nice dotted line right there.
Indeed.
Yeah, put the ink on your nose.
So we're okay.
All right, so going forward, we had an in-ring interview with Wardlow. Before that, he's done with Pinnacle. I honestly don't think Pinnacle's done with him, though. Again, Wardlow still works for Max. It's in his contract that if Wardlow wins the TNT Championship tomorrow night, he's got to give it to Max. So, as much as Wardlow wants to be done with this, if he wins, it's really only going to make things worse. John DeConnie, I'll let you keep going now. I kind of cut you off before.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, originally a couple weeks ago, I said I had a little ping pong going on here that Scorpio Sky would take it and it would go to Wardlow the very next week. I think Max was conspicuous by his absence last week, having nothing to say after what happened with Punk and whatnot, and having nothing to say after Wardlow said, "I'm done with you." And like you said, I don't think Max is done with him, so I could see him costing Wardlow the title here, and those two can break off into their own feud. So give me Scorpio Sky retaining the TNT Championship.
Yeah, James Wheeler's right with you. He just called us in the comments, being punched in the face by MJF with the Dynamite Diamond ring. Obviously, the referee's back will have to be turned, Johnson.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of MJF somehow making Wardlow win, like knocking them both out and dragging Wardlow on top of him for the win, so he can get that belt. So I got Wardlow winning this one.
Ryan,
the best theory that I've heard is that MJF grants Wardlow his release right before the show, and then keeps the 90-day non-compete in there, so he can't wrestle for AEW.
Do you think actually MJF put a 90-day no compete in Ward? That would be.
That's the best theory I've heard, but if the match
good.
actually happens, I'm with you guys. I think, or not. I'm sorry, not with John Smith. I'm with John DeConnie. I think that MJF's going to cost Wardlow the match if it actually happens. But I like that other theory.
Gary.
Yeah, I'm going to make it 3 in a row here. Well, 3 out of 4. I think either MJF or Sean Spears will be out and will try to help him, but will accidentally cost Wardlow the match. And so I'm going for Scorpio Sky as well. So,
I'm with Wardlow. I've been on this. I've been running this. I caught, like I said, the whole thing when Max told him, this is what you're going to do. You're going to qualify for that ladder match. You're going to win that ladder match. You're going to win that title, and then the title's going to be Max called this months ago, and it's just been in my head the entire time because I think that's the start. So now that Max is done with Punk, and then Wardlow, this is how you do it. This is how you do it, and then Wardlow's going to have to win it twice. Like he's actually going to get taken from because under contract, and then Wardlow's going to get fired, go to WWE, and he'll win the Andre the Giant in 2 weeks.
I actually should wait and see what Ryan and John DeConte are doing and then do the opposite so they get me 81 points. So I should just go no contests in every match just to kind of make sure.
Hangman Page defeated Dante Martin with the Buckshot Lariat in an impromptu AEW World Championship match. Dante Martin, as I was saying, was ranked number 2 in the ranking system in AEW, racking up all those wins while nobody was watching. Post-match, Adam Page congratulated Dante on a brilliant singles year. Gave him the handshake. We finally had a respectable handshake. Now it's time for, I guess, now that Darius is back, he's going to go back into the tag team division with Top Flight, and they can go there. But yeah, hell of a run by Dante. You kind of think you would maybe write him off once his brother got hurt, but he kept on trucking along. So good for him. A lot of good things coming from Top Flight. Then here comes Adam Cole, said Revolution was a fluke, and next time Cole will win. There's going to be a 6-man tag team match. We thought it was going to be the Bucks, which prompted Jurassic Express to ask Hangman Page to be on their team, which kind of pissed off the Dark Order. So that whole thing's just about to start. And then Adam Cole, he was hinting at the Bucks. He ended up taking O'Reilly and Fish, as originally expected. I don't know why anybody thought it was going to be the Bucks, just because he said the word young, right? So Ryan Joy, I'll let you go first on this one. I think John DeConnie picked first on the last one. I'll let you guys try to make. I'm trying to make this as fair as possible.
Yeah, that's fair. I think this is kind of a harder match to pick. I think I'm going with the Undisputed Era here. I think that Cole and O'Reilly will get a pin on either Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus. I don't think we're going back to Adam Cole and Adam Page, so I think this is more about the tag title scene.
Okay. Gary.
Yeah, I'm around on that one. I've picked Cole and O'Reilly and Fish to win it. And I do think, although they will want to steer away from Adam Cole getting another title shot, I do think that they're going to, as you say, push for Fish and O'Reilly to go towards Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So I reckon Bobby Fish to take the win for them. So,
John Smith, I kind of have a feeling I know where you're leaning on this one.
Yeah, it's definitely the Undisputed Era. The champs went over big at the pay-per-view, so they don't need this win.
There you go. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that philosophy too. John DeConnie.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I had pegged. That Red. In fact, Red Dragon would probably get the pin. Well, one of the members of Red Dragon would get the pin to lead to a tag title match.
Okay. Then the fun thing, why I was laughing this entire time. So that match was the first match of Dynamite. It was announced after the match was over because Page and Martin didn't go the full 60 minutes. They were allowed to add another match to the card, which ended up being Pac defeating Wheeler Yuta with the brutalizer. But I was like, hey, this one actually didn't go 60 minutes. You could put another match on. So they had a match on standby. I guess they just expect 60-minute barn burners every time they put the world title up first, I guess.
The NWA used to do that all the time, so it's fun.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. And then I'm just going ahead and just completely assume that this is going to be the main event. Thunder Rosa defeated Layla Hirsch after the Thunder Driver for the win, and another crack at Britt Baker. This time, it's going to be in a steel cage match. So whether I guess this kind of has to be the end here. Thunder Rosa getting a second shot here in a matter of 2.5 weeks. Just like you got a second shot at the AEW championship. Thunder Rosa going to maybe just put you and Ryan in the cage for this.
Don't give Tim Anderson any ideas. He's booking me in matches every night in the discussion threads already. Yeah. So I mean, I thought Rosa was going to get the title at Revolution, but once again, we had a whole bunch of interference, and I think I called it as we were watching the end of the match that okay, she'll get a rematch. There'll be some kind of gimmick to keep everybody out. Steel cage match it is. It's in San Antonio, kind of her home away from home. If she doesn't get it done here, I don't know what they're waiting for. I'm going with Thunder Rosa, new champ.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now or never. I had her at Revolution. That was the one match I got wrong at Revolution. Could have used that points. John Smith.
I guess this is going to be like what it'll tell you what AEW really thinks of Britt Baker. Like, are they going to make her unstoppable, or are they going to have her lose this belt? Because who else can she lose this belt to? It would have to be like Jade Cargill 6 months from now or something. So I'm going to have to go with Thunder Rosa on this one because, I think it's time. Britt's had it for almost a year now.
All right, Gary.
I'm exactly the same thoughts as John Smith. I do think that it's kind of now or never. You either take it over now, you'll not take it over for about another year. She'll be the forever champion, as they used to say over here. So I think Thunder Rosa will take it. So
All right, Ryan Joy, you got 4 on Thunder Rosa here.
It just strikes me how well Gary and John are getting along, sitting down there together on the couch.
You can't see what's going on underneath the camera. That's the thing. You see, you can't see these things.
Well, there has to be a reason you both are in such a good mood. So
I'm not wearing any pants.
Thank God there's that part of the screen that blocks you out. Yeah. So the thing is, if Britt Baker wins, and that's what you guys have alluded to, who does she wrestle next? And there's really nobody set up. So unless they're going to completely turn her face, and if they're going to do that, they might as well get her ready to face Jade Cargill. So it's going to make this whole extra show we're doing sort of not interesting. But I'm picking Thunder Rosa.
Okay, so what do we have as our picks here? I think the only guys, the only pick you have differentiating is the TNT title, which is 3 points, which would be the swing that John Nicani needs. Is that correct?
Well, I picked Sky to retain. I think John did too, didn't he?
Oh, John Smith picked Wardlow? Okay, then what's the other one?
I think we picked the same.
Takes the fun out of this.
I does.
John Nicani, change your pick real quick.
Yeah.
Change one of them.
81 points more. I'm going
Pick one to change. Yeah.
I'll go with Hangman and Jurassic Express.
Okay.
All right, so John Nicani playing for the tie, trying to go in overtime somehow, I guess. So that will do it.
No, but he has more victories, right? So
that's
he would win the tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah.
And then all white with the world.
There you go. So that will do it for our AEW and St. Patrick's Day Slam. Ryan Joy, that will be it for you today. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here? There you go. All right. John Smith, John Nicani, we will see you back here in a little bit. As me and Gary, now we got to change all this stuff around. Gary, the UK Heritage Cup match, main event, absolutely incredible. These are 2 of my favorites. So happy they got to be able to do this style of match.
Yeah, they really are. I might say it was. We talked about what they would do or what they wouldn't do and how it would pan out, and I thought it was really well done because obviously, when Joe Coffey went 1 fall up in the second round, he'd been absolutely all over Noam Dar for 2 rounds. I mean, it was just Joe Coffey putting him to bed and showing him how it was and went 1 up. And then all of a sudden, obviously, you had Dar coming back, and when they eventually 1-1 after the 3, and then wondered how they were going to finish it, but it was pretty clean, to be fair about it. Yeah. The 5th round, Noam Dar takes it, so it took it 2-1 after the Nova Roller in the 5th. So Noam Dar, I mean, he is fantastic. I mean, he really is. He's always been your man from the start, and I have warmed to him as we've gone. But like he really is just everything he's in. He's like Midas. It just turns to gold. So more power to him.
And the good news is, Gary, with this, I took a crack at the beginning of the show. The second fall of this match, Noam Dar got the Raw roll-up for the victory on Joe Coffey. So we're going to count that in the Raw roll-up, saying you guys need all the help you can get. So talk up for NXT UK. Glad to have you there. And then, Gary, last week you chose this as the winner is you match of your week. I don't think you could have picked any better one than this. How did you enjoy A-Kid and Charlie Dempsey?
Oh my goodness. I don't know how many times I've watched it. Just completely loved it. I mean, Charlie Dempsey obviously is my man crush as far as wrestling goes. It's like because he's just superb as a technical wrestler. And A-Kid, I mean, if he was going to go out, he's obviously going across to the NXT 2.0. And if he was going out, this is the way to go. They had an absolute technical masterclass, just superb, completely different style of match than anybody would have had. Charlie Dempsey is different than anybody on any of the WWE rosters. I mean, completely different. It's just so physical, absolutely brilliant, and finished off by, I'm not sure how I would describe the way that he bent A-Kid to pin him. Almost had literally bent him in half. Like a pretzel, as I would say, yeah.
That's twice now that's happened to AK. He's just been bending like a pretzel. I can't remember who did it the first time. It's like, God damn.
But honestly,
Was it Jordan? I think it was Jordan.
If anybody's not watched it, If anybody's not watched it, they need to see it. Just unbelievable. No matter what I say, I couldn't do it justice. As a technical match, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess going with that, James Wheeler's got some questions for you, James. I see them. We'll get to them after I ask my one right now. But now, A-Kid, I got a funny feeling he's going to be pulling double duty because he's due tonight against Kushida. Are you okay with this? Do you want him to get the UK title before he goes? Like, what are your thoughts on A-Kid jumping ship here?
I am incredibly pleased for him. There were a couple of people on the roster that I was like going, you need to be seen by a bigger audience. As much as I love watching you on a Thursday night, you need to be seen by a bigger audience. And he was one of them. And I didn't know if he would actually get it just because of his size, although he's amazing. And I think the match against Kushida tonight, if they just let him go out for 10 minutes and say, you know what, boys, away you go, he will get over like nobody's business. So.
Yeah, if you only had 10 minutes with Kushida, it's just that match is gonna break my heart though, just because I know they're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 questions from James Wheeler. First, how do you feel about a faction with Doudrop, Nikki Ash, and Becky Lynch?
It would be. I would love to see particularly Doudrop and Nikki Ash together because they have such a history in ICW in Scotland and stuff like that. I think they'd be great, and I could see like Nikki Ash forgetting the superhero gimmick, going back to kind of how she was in Sanity, Doudrop being a nasty heel, and Becky Lynch heading it up. I think would be a great faction that would work really well.
And then Pete Dunne, huh?
Yeah, no comment. I did, although I did see, I did laugh whenever it was Sheamus went, you might all know him by another name, but we know him by his nickname, and you're like, yeah, that's right, of course. It almost gives them an out of going, well, we didn't say it was his real name, so if they ever decide to call him Pete Dunne again, but at least actually, again, he's another one I'm glad to see getting the chance in the main rosters.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, just get there first and then worry about the other stuff later, like that's really, it's like Kane was an evil dentist, like you can survive stuff like this, it's possible, so. Symbiosis defeated Morel and Jones after a power slam by Timo, followed by a diving headbutt by Primate. Post-match attack by Wild Boar. We are off and running with this guy. Wild Boar is back. He came back swinging a chair. He didn't. I guess he knew better than to try to 3 guys by himself. So he brought a chair with him. So good to see the Wild Boar back from injury.
Yeah.
In other news, with speaking of jumping ships here, holy crap. There we go. Holy crap. I guess Johnny Saint, the office of Johnny Saint was Sid Scala. He was about to make an announcement. Here comes Wolfgang. And then all of a sudden, Roderick Strong is flying overseas. I didn't know I wanted to see this guy until they said it. I'm like, oh my God, Roderick in the UK. This would be perfect. And with him not really doing all too much, it seems like the Creeds are getting all the attention now. And Ivy, and actually, send them overseas.
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard that he was over, and I purposely didn't look. I don't know who he was against. I don't know what happened, and I heard it was Wolfgang, and went, "Ooh, it wasn't the match I thought it was going to be," and I thought it was really interesting. So it should be a really good match.
Now, do you think Roddy and A-Kid, like they high-fived each other, like by the planes as they were flying over like past each other when they're going?
I almost wondered. There was part of me wondered when I heard it was Roddy coming across of going, is he somebody that they trusted to go across and go, look, go over and have a look at a couple of boys and see what you think. And that he's given the heads up and like, yeah, take him and take him. So whether in the next month or so somebody else from the roster goes across, maybe Charlie Dempsey may well disappear quicker than we thought. But
yeah, that'd be interesting. So who do you got in that match? Like I said, now if that's what's Roddy's job here, is he putting guys over or is he over there to represent? Like, well, I don't think it's like there's no harm either way, to tell you the truth.
No,
so it really doesn't.
If it's a one and done, you kind of go, yeah. I mean, I assume kind of that Wolfgang would go over, but then it's Roddy Strong, and you think no, unless obviously if they do some sort of when worlds collide type event like we've had before, and all of a sudden you bring Gallus across and have Gallus against Roddy and the Creeds. That would be
really good.
Yeah.
If they do a Worlds Collide now, I just got a bad feeling the UK is just gonna wipe the floor with that. But then it's just like, okay, Diamond Mine's there, okay, Walters, that's interesting, and Walters back in action, and then I guess Breaker would hold his own, but and then Trent Seven proposed that Oliver Carter, Ashton Smith have to earn their second title fight. He actually twisted Tyler Bates' arm on his. Tyler Bates, I guess, so they have to win one-on-one matches in order to earn their second title shot. The first one coming up will be for Oliver Carter. He's got to defeat Triple Crown and meet the Mr. NXT UK himself, Tyler Bate. Tall order for Oliver Carter, Gary.
It is, but I think he's gonna achieve. I think what we'll have is that Oliver Carter will go over, and I'm going to talk myself out of that. I'm going to say Tyler Bate will go over, and then Ashton Smith will beat Trent Seven. It'll give Trent Seven another one of these, oh, I'm no good, we have to be a tag team, we need to be sort of thing. So I'm actually going to change my mind at the last second, and I'm going to go Tyler Bate.
I say this is. I don't want to say this match is going to be the irrelevant one, because if that's the case, then Tyler can win it. But it's going to be Trent Seven's going to lose.
Yeah,
and he's going to go back to being the Warrior World, like his career's on the line again. Oh my God, we can't lose this, and he's going to be out of his mind. And then Tyler's going to take the pin for the title. Let's go Tyler Bate on this one, just because then that'll set up Tyler losing the titles when they have the rematch. If that's the case, if they're going to give him the Carter and Smith, if not, maybe like Massive Stars or whatever. But this is, you can kind of see this finally starting to build up where Trent Seven loses his mind. So, Gary Mehaffy, thank you so much again for staying up. I guess a little bit earlier for you than usual, because you didn't have the time change yet. So, we hope you enjoy your extra hours sleep. And then, of course, Gary, I do have to tell you, may your Guinness glass always be full. May your corned beef be tender. May your Irish soda bread be very, very buttery. Enjoy your St. Paddy's Day. For myself, like I said, my mother, I have 50% Irish, and my mother's 100% Irish, so we're doing that on Sunday. So,
to be sure.
On the day.
Yep, I will enjoy it. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.
All right, so with that, we will bring back in John Smith, bring back in John DeConnie as we transition. I believe, Roadblock is next. John Smith, we did miss you last week for your picks. Spoiler alert, we all did terrible.
Yeah, there was only 2 matches that were on, right?
Yeah, but we picked the other ones, and it just the tournament matches we all got wrong. It was just an absolute disaster. But John Smith, the NXT Championship is in new hands for the 20th time.
Yeah, and I honestly, none of us saw this coming, and now after it happened, it was like, wow, how did we not see this coming? It was, because it's a 3-way match, first of all, so it's no DQ. We get a nice hot start between the 3 of them going all out, and then Braun Breaker does a nice double suplex to the both of them, and things just keep going, and then all of a sudden you get Robert Roode yanking Breaker out of the ring, which distracts Ciampa. He turns around and just eats a super kick. Not even a zigzag, John DeConnie's favorite move of all time. But a super kick for the 1-2-3 on Ciampa. And I hope you have the graphic ready, because Dolph Ziggler, a winner, is you. And I never would have thought I would have been praising Dolph Ziggler, especially considering the fact that I hated his guts 10 years ago. But
you used to kill me every time I fucking cheered for Dolph Ziggler.
I know. And, he really won me over with that "it should have been me" stuff. And, his ladder match with Brody Lee, or whatever his name was at the time, at SummerSlam, and they had a ladder match that he really, started getting on my good graces, and I've just been a big fan ever since. And I love Robert Roode, so the rub he's gotten from him, doesn't hurt his case. But yes, Dolph Ziggler, a winner is you. Congratulations! This is your biggest world title victory of all time, not your Money in the Bank.
There you go. So first things first, Braun Breaker, Roadblock. Thank you for supplying the graphic, John McConaughey. I know that stole that from you. Meanwhile, tonight, actually, Dolph's going to bring Miz TV I don't know if this is done on purpose.
All right, I take everything back. I take everything nice I just said about Dolph Ziggler back.
The thing is, they hate each other. So they probably were the greatest rivalry of 2016. But I guess I don't know if this is Ziggler's request that he doesn't believe that. I guess he doesn't want to go on Lash Legends show or whatever that lashing out. I guess I don't know. The Miz is going to be on NXT tonight for the first time since he was training Daniel Bryan about 15 years ago, whatever the hell that was. So that's going there tonight. John DeConnie, I said John Smith. We all had Braun Breaker on that one. We all got roadblocked as well. We did discuss though Ziggler was a possibility. I think we all knew it wasn't Ciampa, and I guess with the rationale with this is if John DeConnie's right, and it's usually I don't think John DeConnie was spreading rumors and stuff like this. I'll put SpongeBob on it anyway, but I think that if they do debut a new NXT championship at Stand and Deliver, Breaker needs to be the first one to win it, type deal. Not, I don't know. So I figured this is just going to set up for Braun to get a new belt after this. So, yeah, you never know. But John DeConnie also had a last man standing match that we all got wrong with the exception of John Smith. He got his 1 point.
Yes, yeah, I thought this was not even the rubber match because Waller had won the 2 matches against LA Knight, but LA Knight would wind up thumping him after the match and, kind of taking away a moral victory. But it was not to be again. These two went all over the building there. They went up onto that riser in the middle of the crowd there that Knight actually tossed Waller off of it, but apparently Sanga caught him on the way down. Then Sanga brought out a pair of leg irons and tried to hook up Knight, basically he was going to tie his legs around the ring post so that he couldn't stand up. He couldn't physically answer the 10 count, but LA Knight was able to switch it up on him, and Sanga wound up locked around the ring post himself. They went, all over the place until Knight started to get the upper hand. Waller pulled out the old slapjack that's not even legal for police officers to carry anymore, and walloped Knight in the head, laid him out against the across the announce desk, and gave him a diving elbow from the top buckle, destroyed the announce desk. But then he could barely stand himself, Grayson Waller, but he made it just far enough back to climb on Sanga's back. Sanga stood up, therefore bringing Waller to his feet. LA Knight never recovered, did not answer the 10 count. Grayson Waller with the clean sweep and the victory here.
Yeah, right. That's 3 in a row, too. It's tough to beat the guy 3 times in the same season. Grayson Waller. I just got an interesting text from my brother. My brother Brian sent me an article from TheRinger.com titled "Scott Hall Understood the Soul of Wrestling Fans." So there's an interesting article out there on the interweb. I'm sure there's a lot, but that I guess that one kind of struck him as a good one. The soul of wrestling fans. I like that. The Creed brothers were taken out with crowbars in the parking lot at the beginning of the show. MSK said they'll step up if the Creeds can't. Imperium actually ended up fighting MSK for the tag team championship, ended in a no contest after the Creeds came out, but they weren't medically cleared and cleaned house. So maybe we have a triple threat tag team match coming out Stand and Deliver between those 3. But the Creeds definitely still have their title match, right? They didn't use their Dusty Cup and cash in, for lack of a better term. Tony D Skittish from his cousin's Italian restaurant. Scenes from an Italian restaurant. Bottle of red, bottle of white. He says he's going to be the Don of NXT. Tony D. Then I think he threw his plate at the waiter or something. There it is. Those Chase U classroom session, absolutely incredible. I crack up every time I watch one of those. And on the extreme other end of the spectrum, lashing out hurt my head. Joe Casey and Harlan interrupted Draco Anthony's workout, telling Draco to let his guard down and let them in to his life. Zion Quinn came to the back of Draco and told Casey and Harlan to go scram. So those were there was only 2 matches to pick. So here, myself, anybody who was on air last week got the squad douche. John Smith, Travis Evans, they each picked Grayson Waller for the win. So they got the 1 point out of this. But we've it's coming down to stand and deliver. Me, Gary, Ryan, Joy. Should be an interesting little rat race to find out who the NXT champion is. ProWrestlingPick'em.com going forward. So here, I forgot to do this. LA Knight Roadblock. In the Dusty Rhodes Women's Tag Team Classic, a bit of an upset here. Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu. They defeated Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade after Toxic Attraction took out Raquel's knee, which eventually gave out later in the match as she attempted a Conchita bomb, the running Kai kick into a Vader bomb by Wendy, into a double foot stomp by Kai. It took a lot to keep Raquel down, but she stayed down for the win. Dakota Kai finally got the pin too. I thought that was good. So they advanced to the final. They're going to be going against Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. An absolutely outstanding match against Casey and Kaden. Turned out that it was going to be the KLR bomb, followed by the moonsault from Io on Casey Catanzaro for the win. Cora Jade attacked Mandy Rose up in her little watching suite post-match after what Toxic Attraction did to Raquel earlier in the evening. So Raquel Gonzalez, Roadblock. John Smith, as our senior NXT correspondent, this wasn't the final we asked for, but are you happy with the final that we got? I am.
I'm pretty happy with it because this Wendy Chu thing is getting over, and Dakota Kai is pretty awesome. I don't think they're going to win it though. I had Io and Kaylee Ray winning from the start, so I'm not going to switch my pick now.
All right, John DeConnie. We don't know if this match is actually happening tonight. I can't see them stretching it 2 or 3 weeks, however far away we are from Stand and Deliver. But who do you think goes for it if this happens tonight?
Yeah, I assume that the winner will get their tag title shot at Stand and Deliver, and I think it will be. I think it'll be Io and Kaylee Ray.
It might as well be. They have the feud already started with Toxic Attraction. I'm surprised they didn't come back out and try to take out those two as well. Yeah. So interesting to see. I guess I have to say that for the pay-per-view. Fallon Henley, formerly in action, defeated Tiffany Stratton, excuse me, after Saray, hit Stratton behind the ref's back, allowing Henley to hit the running knee strike. Not the shiniest wizard, but it was a pretty shiny wizard. For the win. So this week we got a pissed off Tiffany Stratton going up against Saray. John McConney.
I think, I was going to say Saray. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stick with Saray. I mean, she came in with a lot of hype. Didn't really work out. She went back home. She found Grandma's necklace, which somehow re-inspired her. If they're going to bring her back and she's going to lose her second or third match, then why do they even bother to bring her back? So give me Saray.
Yeah, I think she found a couple schoolgirl outfits too, from what I saw. Oh my God. John Smith.
Now that might have been worth the trip overseas.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I forgot about schoolgirl outfits.
Give me Tiffany Stratton on this one. She's playing that heel gimmick. Maybe she debuts some sort of muscle or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Saray. I forgot that this was gonna Tiffany Stratton last week. I'm so sorry. I want her to get the win. I'm not gonna be shocked if Tiffany Stratton wins this at all because up and coming star of the push or whatever. She's good though. I like Tiffany. The little stupid things that she does, like after she clothesline somebody, she'll do like a quick little girly prissy rich girl thing. She's playing the character good. I like it. As I mentioned earlier to Gary during our NXT UK segment, A-Kid making the jump overseas. Iki Manjiro was amped up. Kushida, not so much. Maybe I'm going to be let down. I know I am, but a winner is me if they do this properly. Kushida and A-Kid I love Gary's philosophy. A-Kid needs to be showcased. He is so incredible. And that Liu Kang kick that he does, is, oh my god damn. This is going to be A-Kid because Kushida, for whatever reason, I don't want to say falling off the face of the planet. He's made eventing level up. So I guess that's something. John Smith. Who do you got on this?
Give me A-Kid. I don't see why they would bring him if he's not going to win it.
Yep. John DeConnie.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kushida was not all that thrilled to see him coming because he knew he was going to be counting the lights. Give me A-Kid.
Yep. Duke Hudson has been throwing a roadblock in between the relationship between Persia Pirotta and Indy Hartwell. They're gonna go at it this week. There's a lot of history here. Apparently, Indy and Duke had a thing, and now Duke's with Persia. Meanwhile, Indy's married. Dexter, we haven't seen since he found out the news and was heartbroken and walked away with sad face. So, John DeConnie, are we going to see the reemergence of Dexter Lumis to be by the side of his bride this week, tonight?
Yeah, everything tells me that since Persia's the newer, recruit, if you will, that she would probably go over. But I'm thinking the fact that we haven't seen Dexter in a while means he'll come back. He'll have some kind of hand in the outcome here, and maybe we see a nice mixed tag coming up. So give me Indy with the help of Mr. Lumis.
John Smith.
I'm going to say Persia on this one. I say Duke Hudson and Dexter get involved, and it's a big bleep show, and Indy ends up getting pinned, possibly even a Raw roll-up.
Oh, all right. I'll take a Raw roll-up there. Yeah, I'll go Persia Pride as well, and then hopefully Dexter. They win the battle. I think Dexter and Indy will win the war. So, Index. I'm going to call him that. And then one last thing, Carmelo Hayes, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago after he defeated, I forget who did he defeat to defend the North America. I think it was Pete Dunne. That he wants to have a match at Stand and Deliver the same way that the belt started, the North American Championship started. That's going to be a ladder match. And then Trick suggested while they were getting their hair cut that they have qualifiers. So here we go. NXT ripping off AEW. Qualifier for a ladder match. Cameron Grimes, Santos Escobar, John Smith. I'll do it for you.
This is a qualifier.
Oh, man. For the Stand and Deliver ladder match.
This is tough. I'm going to have to go with Santos on this one. This is really tough, though. But, yeah, I could see them having something else for Cameron Grimes to do. And I don't really see what they would have, what they can make happen for Santos in the next couple of weeks before Stand and Deliver.
Okay, Legato's had some run-ins with Brooks and Jensen. I don't know if that's specifically going to be Santos. It seems like it's been more Elektra at the moment. And maybe, I guess, a little bit of Raul and Joaquin down county.
Yeah, this is about as much of a coin toss as anything I think we've ever discussed in NXT, because you could absolutely see either one of these guys moving forward to the ladder match. Just to be contrarian, I'll go with Grimes because that's who I'll be rooting for. But I mean, there's, like we said during John's segment there, the winner's us. It doesn't matter whichever one moves forward into that ladder match. That's a big plus for the ladder match.
Yeah, who else do they have on the right? Why are these two qualifying against each other? They both should be in it. Like that.
Exactly. You're gonna have 8 guys fight to get into this match, and one of these two is not going to be in it. Jeez. Impress me with who's actually.
I got Grimy in this, and obviously I could be wrong. I'm not saying it's a lock by any means, but if Legato's got something else going with Brooks and Jensen, I mean that could easily, I guess, Fallon is the third person in that, right? The one that is eventually going to get with the guy who's never been with the girl before. So they could do like a 6-person tag there, but that doesn't leave that does nothing for Santos because he's not involved in that. So
True.
Who the hell knows what they're doing with this? Speaking of who the hell knows what they're doing with professional wrestling, we're going to make the new smooth transition to Impact. last Thursday, we had an in-ring promo with Josh Alexander. Was interrupted by Honor No More and Eddie Edwards. Again, being looked past. Josh wants to fight, so all that began. Swan, Mac, Heath, and Rhino came down for the save. Scott D'Amore appeared, booked Swan and Eddie for the main event. But John DeConnie, we had a barn burner to start the show off.
We sure did. We had Willie Mack and Kenny King, and they tore it up for about 8.5 minutes. I hadn't seen Kenny King in a while, and you don't get a whole lot out of watching a guy in a 10-man tag. So seeing him one-on-one with Mac, I forgot just how good he is. But it all ended with the 6-star frog splash and the greatest music in the wrestling biz.
John Smith, you want to sing it or do you want me to sing it? It's like they watched the show. They know we love the music, so we didn't hear it in the beginning. Oh, we got to give it to him at the end. So Willie's got to win the match. So it's one of those.
Word.
And then, as promised, the main event is that Eddie Edwards is going to be just unstoppable going forward. John.
Yeah, he took on Swan, as was set up in that first segment, like you said. These guys went 20 freaking minutes, and with really nothing on the line. This is just, hey, let's take two guys that have been the heart and soul of this company for the last 2 years and let them show what they can do. And it was everything you wanted. In the end, Swan missed the Phoenix Splash. Eddie hit the big lariat as a tip of the cap to his old mentor there from Japan. Followed with the Boston Knee Party, but that wasn't enough because this is now bad guy Eddie. He had to get him up in that fisherman's, whatever you want to call it. I believe he calls it Die Hard Flosion. And he finished off Rich Swan with that. 19 minutes, 16 seconds. Then Honor No More rallied around Eddie at the end. They all kind of put their hands on the kendo stick as a show of unity. And that's a hard team to beat right there.
That is a tough squad. Led by Eddie Edwards. I get Moose is going to be in trouble. There's going to be an X Division Championship match at Rebellion. There's going to be a triple threat. They have qualifiers. Everybody's ripping off AEW. They have qualifiers too to get into this match. It's not a matter match, I guess, right? Ace Austin defeated John Skyler and Crazy Steve after the fold in order to advance in the match. So now we have Trey Miguel, we have Ace Austin, and probably they'll probably have the other triple threat on Thursday night. I don't think they announced who that match is yet, though. Right, John? Yeah. There was an 8-woman tag team match. Mickie James, Chelsea Green. I thought she was injured again. She's fighting through it. I know she's Canadian. I know she likes hockey, and we fight through these kind of injuries. But Chelsea Green, okay, there you go. Always ready, right? There you go. Mickie James, Chelsea Green, and the Inspiration. Look at them being on the good guy team, huh? Defeating Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, and the Influence after a Mick DT on the Champ. So it looks like we maybe have, I don't know if they're going to rerun that back at Rebellion or maybe do something beforehand. But I think Mickie, she's going to have, they still do that at Impact, right? They have the automatic, rematch clause in their contracts. So
I do believe.
They did an in-ring promo with the Bullet Club. Eddie Kingston wasn't the only one who didn't get a handshake at the weekend prior's pay-per-view. Alex Shelley got snubbed as well. Jay White invited him out for a 2-sweet out of respect for their match. Things broke down. Here comes Chris Sabin. The Motor City Machine Guns are back together. They'll be going against the Bullet Club's Jay White and Chris Bay. John Smith.
I never pick against the Bullet Club, so give me them.
John Conley, Ryan Joy made a bold prediction last week that Jay White will not lose when he's over on this side of the country, which is not as bold of a statement as possible. I guess Chris Bay could take the loss, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think the Bullet Club gets it done here. But either way, a winner is us.
There you go. John Conley, winner. There you go. The Bullet Club against the Motor Machine Guns. The winner is us. The winner is you. I'm going to go with the Motor City Machine Guns. It's their first time back. That Alex Shelley match was that no surrender, right? Or was that sacrifice? Eric Young was no surrender. Either way, Jay White's just been putting on a freaking clinic for us, and Travis had something when he had this man crush on him. Backstage interview with Deonna Purrazzo was interrupted first by Giselle Shaw, who wants a shot at the champ. Lady Frost then appears, says she beat Giselle, so she should get it on the next show. Deonna settled the argument, said she'll whoop both their asses on Thursday. They'll each get a title on the line, whatever it is. The fact that Giselle Shaw and Lady Frost haven't even been drawn by whoever does this stuff, or Ryan Joy, are you going to give either of those two again a chance against Deonna Purrazzo, John McConney?
Hell no. The champ. Hold on. Both the
A little
titles.
crooked there for a second. Cut the fixer post pre-production. John Smith.
Are either of the other two from Jersey?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Although one does have a very, very great first. I think it was like Giselle, and you take Lady Frost, the Frost, and Lady Frost, like Giselle Frost. I like that name. Anyway, Giselle's such a pretty name, don't you think, John Smith?
Disagree.
Tell you what, Tom Brady had 2 weeks home with her. He's like, nope, going back to work.
Absolutely. Looks like I'm gonna have to draft him again next year.
There's a lot happened last week. Macklin, I guess, kind of turns his back on Team Impact as well. Not that he's with Honor No More, but he was pissed that he wasn't trusted at Sacrifice. It ended up being Eddie Edwards was the one that turned. But we're gonna have Rhino going against No Nipples here, John Smith.
Didn't even notice that.
I noticed it on Heath, and I forgot to say something, so I see it with Mac. I think this guy has a thing against strong nipples. So
I almost never pick against Rhino, but I'm gonna have to go with Macklin on this one.
yeah, he's I Spy Jersey guy here, John McConney. He's I Spy Mr. Purrazzo, the future Mr. Purrazzo.
That's it. You can call him that to his face. Meanwhile, I will pick him to be right.
Yeah. I'm sure, like you say that, and Deanna's like, "Well, what's wrong with that?" She has all the gold. It's not like she should have the hand and all that.
It's the current year. What is wrong with that?
What finally stemmed from the opening segment, confrontation between Team Impact and Honor No More. Josh wants Eddie Edwards now. Eddie is busy, so D'Amore will give him Matt Taven in the main event of the of Thursday night. So we'll finally get Josh's first in action since his contract re-signing, since he's announced that he will be the main event at Rebellion to challenge Moose. John DeConti, Senior Impact correspondent.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think there's some C4 in Matt Taven's future. Maybe even an ankle lock if Josh decides to go a little snappy after the fact and kind of sink things in. Like, this is supposed to be his one and only match between now and when he gets his shot at Moose, because he's supposed to focus. I think he's, his temper is going to continue to get the best of him, and I think that means bad things for Matt Taven.
Yeah, Josh is fired up. He was fired up before he left, let alone came back. That's why they kind of sent him home, right, John Smith?
Yeah, I don't see any way Josh Alexander loses this match.
I don't think he should lose on. He's got to have all the momentum in the world to go up against Moose to be able to get that win. And then it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. Where because obviously Eddie Edwards is going to want his shot. He's been complaining about it, so it's that he's never getting his shot. So you have Eddie versus Josh. You could have Eddie versus Moose. There's a lot that could go on here. So Rebellion will be at the end of April. Really looking forward to that show. One of Impact's big four. Should be absolutely great. Looking forward to it. So we switch gears now for the final segments. Will be WWE heading into WrestleMania. First, we are going to layeth the smacketh down on your Rudy Poo candy ass. It started with an in-ring promo with Brock Lesnar saying, Roman, what did he say? Roman done changed the rules or something like that. You don't draw first blood on Brock Lesnar and live to tell about it. Heyman came out to say Roman wasn't there, so Lesnar chased Heyman around, and in the process completely launched two security guards over or through a table. He absolutely trucked those two guys in the back. I ain't staying in front of him. That's like Derrick Henry, like times 10 running at you. Jesus Christ. So that was fun. So they're actually Roman Reigns wasn't there on Friday. He will be there this upcoming Friday. I guess they're going to collide I guess one of those things where they have to have 10 security guards who are in between the two of them in the ring. I think they did that segment with those two 40 years ago. This is,
And in the end, it doesn't matter.
yeah, they're going to join a very exclusive club, Roman and Brock. This will be the third WrestleMania they're fighting, and not many people can say that against each other. I think Rock and Austin, and then Triple H and The Undertaker, the only two that feuds that have done that. John DeConn, Sami Zayn got his Intercontinental Championship rematch without a rematch clause. Go figure.
Yeah, and Sammy didn't have time to really prepare himself because he spent the whole day answering telephone calls. Because as we found out, Johnny Knoxville paid a plane to fly his telephone number over the city of Los Angeles. So Sammy was fielding phone calls all day long. But that's okay. He still went into the match very, very confident that he would get back his Intercontinental title. And in a little under 13 minutes, he did not get the job done, as Ricochet would drop him with a recoil and then follow with a 630 senton for the 1-2-3 and retain the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, he won it with the Raw roll-up last week and got him clean. Sammy doesn't have any excuses right now for losing that match.
Nope.
You can't blame Knoxville. I guess you can blame the phone calls, and I think that he probably does. There you go. Very happy to see Ricochet main event at WWE show. Yeah. The rumors going around, I guess, whatever. Ricochet's and all of a sudden back. I'm gonna say back in Vince McMahon's good graces, but Ricochet's finally gonna get the push. I'm like, what the hell happened then? Because Vince hated him for so long. Threw him to Lesnar when Lesnar ate him up in a minute, and then you haven't seen him. Like, I don't say I haven't seen him since, but it's just like, what the hell? What changed his mind? Like Vince's like, you know what? This guy actually is pretty good. No bleep. Like, what the
running
hell?
out of options.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's probably because he stuck it out, and he also didn't go and be all disgruntled on social media like all these entitled people these days.
Yeah.
I think he's dating the NXT ring announcer now. He broke up with Casey, which kind of hurt. I thought that was a cute couple.
Oh,
Can I say cute couple? Are guys allowed to say that? I thought they were a good couple.
Only if it's about two guys.
Gotcha. But before the Intercontinental Championship match, Austin Theory was down near commentary, slapped Pat McAfee again. McAfee then, he was right at the edge of the table instead of running around the table to get him, decided to hop up on the table to hop off. I thought that was fun. And anyone else see Austin Theory sitting next to him, like in the beginning, and then they showed the highlights of it last night on Raw. Like they edited that out where Theory just came out standing in front of him. Theory was sitting next to him in the commercial break, and McAfee just kind of looking at. Anyway, you don't see too many editing flaws like that at a WWE. That's why I kind of need you point out. That was a mistake. But the Theory started swinging. They got pulled apart. They're ready to roll for WrestleMania. John Smith, unfortunate. We could have all the jokes in the world for Pete Dunne in this situation, but unfortunately, Pete Dunne's debut is going to be synonymous with a very horrific injury. But I guess it was a good match up to that point.
Hey, you may know him as Pete Dunne, but I know him by his nickname, Butch. All right? So, I mean, there's not much to be said about this match. It was a standard match until the end, and then we get Big E, I guess. Did he not flip enough in the suplex? Did Ridge Holland not throw him high enough? Was it just the fact that Ridge Holland's so short that Big E thought he might have had extra time to get over? But either way, he pencil dived right onto his head and broke his neck. But like this was a Austin / Kurt Angle broken neck, not a Droz broken neck. Let's not get it twisted here.
Yeah, he seemed like he was in good spirits in the videos that he put on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? His career could be over. We're not taking it lightly, but I'm saying at least he can move all of his extremities, and then so Kofi finished the match and lost, and then Butch got in there, got on top of him, started licking his face. It was pretty gross. So, yeah.
So two things can stem from this. One, going forward, for those of you who are big fans of the Royal Rumble, I've watched all of them over and over and over again. The one that I watched probably a million times over again was the 1991 Royal Rumble. And I could just hear when that clock hit, and it was Bushwhacker Butch, and you just hear Roddy play, and here comes Butch. Every time I'm going to try to keep that going. I guess on a winner is you type thing, Kofi's flying solo. Do they dare put Kofi Kingston versus Pete Butch Dunne at WrestleMania? Like that? That would be awesome.
What's up with Woods? How close to coming back is he?
I don't know. Somebody should start a morning news show and talk about this kind of stuff. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, if we get Pete Dunne and Kofi Kingston out of this, I know feel better, Big E. Jesus Christ, we don't want to see that happen to anybody. But Rick Boogs defeated Jey Uso with the pump handle slam. Shout out to Test. This earned them a tag team title match at WrestleMania. Post-match, Jimmy Uso hit Boogs with his own guitar. The Viking Raiders were taken out in the backstage area by Corbin, Moss, Mahal, and Shanky. They came out to beat down McIntyre. I guess it was supposed to be a 4-on-4, or at least a 3-on-3, right? But Drew overcame it, beating down Shanky. But a couple of big power display moves on Don't Break My Heart, my Yankee Shanky Heart. So good for Drew. Those two are going right to WrestleMania. Sasha Banks and Naomi. My winner is you moment last week. I could have swore this was supposed to be Sasha Banks versus Zelina Vega, and a winner was supposed to be me. And I did not get that. I guess I'm going to have to wait till WrestleMania to get that. Maybe they heard me. I have to pay money for that, right? We'll have to pay the cock for that. Sasha Banks and Naomi, they defeated Natalya and Shayna Baszler, interesting tag team, after Sasha Banks hit Natalya with a code breaker type remover for the win, and then Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. They had an in-ring promo with each other, blah, 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 blah. Then they brawled out in the back towards at the end of the episode. Charlotte suplexed Ronda on the hood of the car. And then we got she made Ronda smile.
Fish hooks.
Shout out to me.
By the way, Woods came back on Saturday at a house show.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Shout out to me who called the Kurt Angle reference with Ronda Rousey. Yes. I just happened to watch WrestleMania 34 at the time. It wasn't like I was, knee-jerk, whatever. But yeah, my first mentor is Kurt Angle. So, yay me. But about last night, all right, last segment of the evening, we're in the main event. Here we go. Going good on time too. Kevin Owens started the show with a promo, running down Stone Cold Steve Austin. Backstage with later in the show, backstage. Oh, that's right. He stunned the cameraman. That's something that Austin would do. Right? I'm not using the microphone. Why is this here? Backstage later with best friends because you got to give the people what they want. KO helped Seth Rollins come up with a vision for WrestleMania. Rollins came out after there was a women's match. I thought he came out to insert himself into the women's tag team championship picture. I'm like, wait, that's going for the belt. All right, you can't get it the men's belt. Go get the women's. That's what Eric Young did, right? And then back. That wasn't the case though. That Rollins' big plan was to get a talk show at Mania with his guest Stone Cold Steve Austin, but that's ridiculous. You can't have two talk shows at WrestleMania. So Rollins proposed they fight for it. Kevin Owens was out of his mind and very adamant that it was no. I already pissed Steve off. He wants to come for me. What the hell are you doing? And then Sonya Deville last by jersey girl, she came out. She's like, that's not a bad idea, Seth. So they main evented with a talk show on the line at WrestleMania. John McCombie.
That was
John Smith. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Seth starts the match trying for the good old Raw roll up, which he's done so well for the past 10 years. Just lots of quick finish type of attempts by Seth to try to steal the victory. Obviously to no avail. We get later in the match, he goes for the Falcon Arrow off the top rope, and KO switches it into that little fisherman's suplex type twisty move that he does off the second rope, which is always looks so dangerous, but it's awesome. During another Raw roll-up attempt, the ref gets bumped out of the ring, and he doesn't get back in for a few seconds. So after like a 7 count, KO kicks out at 2. Seth then argues with the ref about it, to which he then turns around and receives a Stone Cold Stunner for the KO victory. But that Stone Cold promo that they did at the beginning of the show, I didn't see it on SmackDown. I must have fast forward through it, but The one they did, that Stone Cold promo, like that just got the blood pumping, man. Like, nobody gets you ready for wrestling like Stone Cold, man. This is what I'm looking forward to most, and I've only seen one promo from Stone Cold about it.
Yeah, when you call them a dumb son of a bitch, I'm like, okay, yep, he's back. Like, yes, that's it. Yeah, John, that actually came out. It was last Tuesday. It was the night after Owens made the challenge. So it was made official a while ago. So we still don't know. Again, by the way, Owens is talking. By the way, Austin did in that video package. Right now it's scheduled for the KO show. Odds are up until that point, it probably will be the KO show until Austin comes out with a bulletproof or a BMF or a DTA black vest on, with 2 heavy duty knee braces, and also like, okay, then this is not going to be no talk show needed. So looking forward to that. An in-ring promo by Edge saying the Edge that came back before was weak, and he listed off some examples. He wasn't wrong. He needed to step up because the old Edge wouldn't stand a chance against AJ Styles. AJ Styles was not on Raw again this past Monday.
Why was that?
Is the horse dead? Is the horse dead?
I think so.
No, I still see it moving a little bit because this is how you sell a concerto, Tony Khan. He was out with injury, with concussion, whatever the injury is, that he is out for 2 weeks. You don't throw him back in a match 2 days later. I think now the horse is officially dead. Can I stop eating it now? I saw him moving there for a second, so I had to jump in and make sure he was dead.
What about the workhorse semen?
Workhorse semen. It's right there. Work whore semen. There you go. It's right there. RK Bro celebration. This time was organized by Randy. Interrupted by the Street Profits, who challenged RK Bro at Mania. Randy wanted to decline, but Riddle talked Randy into it. Tez then called their party ass, and when he said that, I was watching with my wife. I'm like, Riddle's gonna be pissed. Like, Riddle was so happy that Randy made the effort to half-ass fill balloons and buy concessions popcorn for him.
I love how 4 out of every 5 balloons were flat. I mean, that is just so perfect.
Well, Riddle loved it. It was the greatest day of his career. And Tez called it ass, and that led to a match. Ended in a no contest when all 4 guys got trucked by Alpha Academy. So while Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are whining and complaining that they don't have a way to WrestleMania anymore, Alpha Academy could have easily done the same thing, but they took the initiative and they jumped the guys that are in their way and most likely inserted themselves into that tag team championship match with those 2 teams. So good for Alpha Academy. Shoosh! Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bianca Belair defeated Doudrop with another KOD. Post-match attack by Becky Lynch using Bianca's hair against her, the chair around the neck. Becky grabbed her by the hair, whipped her neck first with the chair into the ring post. Gentlemen, John Smith, does Becky cut her ponytail?
I don't see what effect that would have because it's clearly a weave when you look at her tweets. She doesn't have that. That's not her real hair. So like she could just buy more hair.
Exactly. So like that would be a huge heat-getting heel move. So that Becky, like I can see Becky like the week before, she's like, this hair is not going to be an issue. And then chop it off.
I think it would be better if she actually shaved her head so she couldn't even tie the weave back on.
Oh, what are those? She would look badass too. What are they called? Not the Comertage. What are they called in Black Panther? The female warriors that are badass as hell.
Nah,
never saw it.
All right, it'll come.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I think this should lead to a hair versus hair match.
Oh, James going to his hair versus title. I guess there's no reason. Becky's. What are they called? The Dora Milaje. There you go. Dora Milaje. I knew it was something like that. John DeConnie, we had a non-title match with MVP's United States Championship not on the line here.
Yes,
Theory got involved
Damian-
in this one too.
Yeah, Austin Theory has made a habit of just coming out and sitting next to the commentary table for no apparent reason other than to talk about his upcoming WrestleMania match with Pat McAfee, although this time he did it to Corey Graves, who was, a welcome ear. He thinks that McAfee is going to take a beating by Theory. And, it led you to wonder why the hell is he out here? But I guess they're setting something up for down the line because he would kind of mess with. Although he didn't put his hands on Balor, he kind of got up on the ring apron and distracted Balor for a minute. Balor didn't take too kindly to it, so he came. Once Theory went back to his chair next to Corey Graves, Balor got off the ring apron and gave him the old shotgun drop kick and knocked his ass clear off the chair. But he slid back into the ring, right into the waiting arms of Damian Priest, who hit the Reckoning and got the 1, 2, 3. And then after Balor was loopy and hanging out, Theory slid back in, picked up Balor, hit the ATL, grabbed some selfies. I'm sure we'll see that down the line.
Yeah, James wants the rematch. Damian with the Demon. That will be fun. Austin Theory he was the one that put Finn Balor out. I think Finn Balor, his first match back, was the tag. No, he hasn't even got his hands on Theory yet. He's even back, right? Because his first match was tagging with Ciampa, and then the next week started the whole thing with Damian Priest. Just a little note here, just because everybody where's Cody? Missed opportunity last night. Cody could have debuted in Jacksonville. He could have came out after Rollins lost, saying if you wanted a Mania match, you could have me. That would right the world, and a big FU to Jacksonville and to AEW. Here's what the telling sign is on Cody Rhodes' contract status with the WWE is if Damian Priest keeps using the Reckoning, Cody is not there. Because that is the Rhodes Scholar or whatever the hell he called, the Crossroads.
Crossroads.
So if Damian Priest is still using the Reckoning, if he's still using Crossroads as his finisher, Cody's not there. Because I guarantee you Damian Priest is going to be the one that has to switch his finisher.
No way.
You don't think so? They're going to make
Cody's trash. Nobody wants him.
That's a mute point. And how pissed off are you going to be if it's Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? Yeah,
that's a bathroom break and a half.
John Smith, he had the Mysterios against the Hurt Business. Oh, we didn't hear that music though.
Wow. That's almost as good as Willie Mack's music.
Yeah, Sheldon's got good music. He always had good music.
Yeah, this match didn't go on too long. The story of the match was Logan Paul and The Miz on commentary. The Mysterios got a nice little double 619 at one point on one of the Hurt Business. I forget who. Dominic with an homage to his real dad Eddie with the frog splash for the win. Right after the win, Logan Paul and Miz come in and start beating up the Mysterios. Rey Mysterio then reverses it. We get then Logan Paul in the middle, and he starts getting beat up by the Mysterios, but then he escapes. So, nothing too much going on yet so far, but this is getting pretty heated.
All right, then back to the tag team, the women's tag team division. Like I said, I thought Seth Rollins was going to interject himself into the match after between Zelina Vega after Oblivion. Again, problems with the tag champs heading into WrestleMania. Carmella keeps on getting distracted by Corey Graves at ringside. This time, she actually she wasn't flirting with him. She ran to him for help, for safety, because Rhea Ripley was chasing her. So you see Graves trying to kick her leg out, trying to kick her. That's really funny. And then John DeConnie, a battle of the Giants. I do believe this match is coming up on the ticker right there, a minute 59.
Yeah, well, that ruins my intro for it because I was going to say, this is it. Finally, this is going to be the test. Can Omos work a match more than 2 minutes on his own? Well, here he is Here he is,
So
giant.
close.
Giant versus giant. If there was going to be someone to finally push him and see whether or not he could work a match, this is the guy. Well, not so much, because Aziz grabbed Omos and tried to get him over for a suplex. Omos, absolutely stopped it with his brute strength and reversed it. And it almost didn't look like he was going to get him over, but he eventually got him up and over. He suplexed Aziz and then followed up very quickly with the choke bomb because he clearly doesn't get paid by the hour. And then afterwards, Apollo got a little too close to the ring and he got yanked up into the ring by his skull and went up for a choke slam. He got some frequent flyer miles.
That was someone Big Show used to do that, just pull him up on the apron. I'm glad somebody brought that back. That was good. I would love it. Just Omos can beat everybody and everybody. He beats Roman Reigns. He beats Brock Lesnar. But the one person that he can't beat is Chad Gable. I think that would be the funniest story in his career. And Chad Gable is Omos's kryptonite. He can't get it done.
Come on, we're giving you gold here, Vince.
Exactly. Going into WrestleMania, this is what we have booked so far. Title unification match. That's going to be the main event of night 2. Then we got Styles and Edge, Becky, Bianca, Mysterio's, The Miz, Logan Paul from Raw. Then we have the Flair, Rousey, McIntyre, Corbin, Zayn, and Knox on SmackDown. KO show with Stone Cold. You got an interpromotional match with Austin Theory, Pat McAfee. Both tag team title matches. I know the Usos and Nakamura and Boogs. That one's officially booked. I know the Street Profits challenge was accepted. I'll put the Alpha Academy in that eventually. Then the women's tag team title match there at the bottom. That'll be triple threat also. Probably going to have Balor and Priest. Hopefully they do something. I believe, John Smith, you mentioned 2 weeks ago. Let's go ripping off AEW. Let's have an Intercontinental Championship ladder match. We haven't had one of those at WrestleMania in a while. One of those 7-man car crashes they used to have. And then the Andre. Has anybody seen the Andre?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do the IC ladder match because they got the North American title ladder match on Saturday.
Yeah. 2 ladder matches. Damn it. So here are the Raw roll-up. John LeConte, we had a discussion this morning. Missing in action this week, Noam Dar was the only one in the UK Heritage Cup Raw. I believe he got it in round 4. Got a roll-up on Joe Coffey, and that was it. So chalk went up for NXT UK, but we're pretty much a stalemate this week.
Wow! Not one Raw roll-up in America last week.
That's it. There was not one Raw roll-up in America. That came overseas by Noam Dar. Everything else still stays the same. Everybody's tied at 2. Everybody else at 1. And Matt will do that. So let's get into some important information real quick. The primetime rundown. It's actually going to be on hiatus. Till after the NCAA basketball tournament. So this got really long. You always catch them 7 p.m. They'll be coming back after the tournament in April at that time. In the meantime, you can catch their instant reaction segments that are aired very frequently throughout March Madness. Make sure you go to the Eastern Observer YouTube page and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of their episodes this month. It will be madness. We have a new show on the Eastern Observer, one near and dear to my icy heart, The Sunday Sauce, every Sunday afternoon, hosted by our very own Sheriff, Tyler Adele, along with his partner, Andrew Macaria, a.k.a. Drewski Doodles, as they bring you everything NHL and all of the league's happenings. It says right here, I got the same program every week, this Saucy this Sunday. They are actually going to be off this Sunday because Monday they're going to be airing. There we go, ripping off the Central Wrestling Podcast. The Trade Deadline Special this Monday, March 21st at 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. NHL Trading Deadline, it does get a little crazy. Teams like the Islanders on the bubble right now have to decide whether or not they want to buy, they want to trade, they want to sell, they give up on the season, they want to try to push for the season. It is a pretty wild ride. I will be watching the NHL Network all day on Monday. It is a pretty crazy, but I'm also going to be watching the Sunday Sauce as well on Monday. Trade Deadline Special. My Slam Brigade newsletter, over 5,000 weekly subscribers get this column. Make sure you go to MinisterbellTime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. Black Cats NYC's album Free Cake. Please go to any or all of these music providers: YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Pandora. Anywhere you get your music, you can get the Black Cats NYC's new album Free Cake. It's out now. Play it loud. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Excuse me. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with just you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too. Make sure you join us here next week, episode 97 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. You can watch it live on YouTube or on certain Facebook posts like Pro Wrestling Pick'em, Minutes to Bell Time, and the Eastern Observer. Or you can listen to replays on all of the providers you see sponsored here. We're on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, Spotify, and of course, Zingo Channel 199. And if you're going to join us next week, please make sure you mark on your calendars April 1st, no joke, people, 4 p.m., the Essential Wrestling Podcast Wrestlemania special. We're about to throw in our 2 cents on the show, make our picks for the granddaddy of them all, Wrestlemania. I am excited. I cannot wait. I think this card is looking good. I think there's a lot of sleeper matches here. I can't wait. So, John McConney, anything from you before we get out of here?
No. Another big week. We got the Crockett Cup coming up this weekend too, so we got a little extra wrestling. Just looking forward to it all as usual.
James Wheeler has an idea. Marco Stunt, Joey Janela contracts are up in May. If they decide to leave, they can have the choice of being transferred to Ring of Honor. Interesting. It's still gonna. I don't want to say it's still up in the air what they're gonna do with Ring of Honor, but they have a show in 2 weeks on April 2nd, right, on the WrestleMania Saturday or Friday or whatever. So,
yep.
Be interesting to see what he does. I think that one they can get away with just by using guys like Dalton Castle and whomever. Who were the Beer City Bruiser? He was one of my favorites. I liked him. John Smith, anything from you before we give Razor one last tribute?
No, man. No, give it to Razor.
All right. Thank you, as always, for joining us. My name is Al Karl. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steve, forever in our hearts. John Smith, we missed you last week. Forgot to put that up for you. That's still there.
Nice.
And then you got Zelina. Thank you so much for joining us. John McConney, take us home.
You've probably heard this a lot over the last 2 days, but it doesn't seem right to not end the show thusly. Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.